Hey y'all, this is Tyler Blake from tylerblakeart.com again, and I finished up my. Let's see if I can, sorry for the lighting. I don't know if this is going to show up very well. Right here, we have the correction for panel 5 inked in. I did that on the Lightbox after I finished inking in both figures, and I've talked about doing this a little bit, and today I figured why not. Um, just a real quick primer on some of the Marshall systems that my brother and I are using for the world that this comic is set in. So this is not a. I mentioned the other day that one of the characters, we're basing his style off of a German system where you use what's known as a messer. This is not a messer. This is a reproduction of a historical, like Civil War era Bowie knife, right? But I don't have a messer, so this is gonna have to do. And I also mentioned that I think that Bowie knives were probably strongly influenced by messers, but in use and design. So, anyway, so basically, something that a messer and a Bowie have in common is that you have this edge right here, and this is sharp, so I'm being careful. This is sharp from here all the way to the tip. This part back here is dull until you get about here, and then this is sharp from here to the tip. This is called a false edge or a secondary edge or a swedge, or there's probably 50 other names for that. So anyway, in this, so the what everybody's familiar with is, this style of grip where the edge is basically lined up with your front knuckles, right? Um, and in the original version of the sketch, he was doing what's called a snap cut with this style where uh, he was just reaching out. So he was rotating down horizontally and reaching out and flicking just to give a slight wound on the cheek. Basically just to tell the guy, stop talking, I'm here to fight with you. Right? And it just, I just didn't really like the way, there's nothing wrong with that technique, but in the comic, I was like, yeah, I want to do something different. And then I got to thinking about how we had talked about using this messer style. So the grip changes simply, so I'm going from here, hopefully that shows up, to here, where, so like in that kind of standard style, the edge would be facing you. Now the flat is facing you. I have my thumb right here on top of the flat of the blade, just past the guard. So in a guard position, this would be kind of a straight line from the pommel through the point to your opponent's eyes, right? So that it makes thrusting deceptive. Anyway, so what I'm now doing in the comic, instead of a snap cut, because you wouldn't really do that with this grip, is in German called a Vinker, and in the Filipino martial arts called an abanico. So the arm is raised, the elbow is raised and the wrist is rotated to create this kind of action. So I would be cutting with the primary long edge. So in the comic, he's just doing that, and again, it's the same wound. He's just kind of tagging the guy on the cheek. He's not trying to kill him or take his head off or anything. He's just pinking him, as they used to say. So, and for those of you who have studied Filipino martial arts, you know that an abanico can be done in pretty much a vertical plane. And when you have two sharp edges, it can be done here and here, and the same thing in the horizontal plane above. I'm going to crouch down a little bit. You can still use both of your edges, or just the tip. I thought about having him do that style of Vinker. A saber, I guess it could, but the saber he's using in the comic doesn't have a sharp secondary edge, and you could still wound someone with the tip, but I just wanted to have him do a quick cut. So that's where we come up with that. That's pretty much all I have for today, and I'll be using this scabbard to demonstrate a really embarrassing mistake I made on page 1. Scott, you know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'll do that tomorrow. So until next time, keep reading comics, buying comics, and making comics. Thanks for watching. I'll see you then. Bye.